Now we're gonna move on to something we've all been waiting for. I don't know what I'm gonna say about this yet and how exactly this is gonna go, but it's time for He Made Me Watch. Yeah. And this time, Eric made me watch The Room.
Yeah. I've seen this movie more times than anybody humanly should, and it's because I just keep making people watch this movie. It's a constant. I've made most people I know watch this movie.
You have the same thing that Sarah and I have with Captain Invincible, except that's a good fun B movie.
Yeah, yeah.
It has merit.
And I watched this twice this week. I watched
this
with
is
you.
fun, but ironically so. Like that movie knows what it is and it's great. And
yeah, yeah. No, that's a real undiscovered gem. I watched this with you, and then not the next day, but the day after that, I watched it with some friends at work because they hadn't seen it.
You watched this twice this week.
I watched it twice this week.
That's insane.
Yeah. I've seen The Room a lot. I saw the live riff tracks of The Room.
I wish I'd been there for that. Rasco, how many times have you seen The Room?
So, I've only seen The Room... I'm pretty sure I've only seen the movie in full one time. I wasn't able to rewatch The Room again for this video because I don't have any DVDs with me right now, and I don't own any DVDs. And I couldn't find it online, so I'm sure you could have found it and torrented it, but I don't do that. I pay for things. So, I actually didn't get a chance to rewatch it for this, but I have seen The Room one time, but I'm very familiar with all of the big talked about scenes from The Room, and I feel like it's one of those movies where when you watch it through one time, it's kind of impossible to forget anything because everything has a thing about it. Like every scene, there's a thing about it. Whether it's a boom mic in the shot, or a drop subplot, or whatever it is. Or
a character that just disappears or is placed by a completely different character.
Yeah, like it keeps your attention in all the wrong ways, right?
It's not a slog.
No, I can't. I mean, there are bits where I'm like, let's get a move on, I guess.
But then that's almost the entertaining part of it. Is like, how are you not moving?
Counterintuitive is such an understatement. So.
Because there's so many bad movies where it's like, no, you have to see how bad it is. And then, like, you watch it and you're like, yeah, it's bad, but, like, it's also boring. The Room is never boring.
Yeah, so the thing I'm worried about talking about this is, you know, I'm late to this party, and what a party it is. And I'm hesitant to really say anything because I'm afraid that everything I talk about is going to be like, well, yes, we all know how crazy The Room is. Like it's kind of low hanging fruit, right? Like it's a real. Which I'm going to make an announcement in a little bit, which is going to make that statement really funny. But The Room is like a movie that is so. It has such a reputation for its insanity that, like I said, I'm just late to the party. So everything I have a response to, where I'm like, I can't believe they did that. It's like, we know it's ridiculous. The best way I can describe what this felt like, and obviously the only reason anybody watches this is because it's just crazy that it even got made, right?
That finished production.
Yeah, like it's. Okay, so let me say this first. I feel weird about it because it feels like a movie I am not supposed to be watching. It feels like a thing that should never have been released to the public and was just made for a guy in his house. And there are probably a lot of other things that look like this, but you'll never see them because it's just some random guy who had fun with his friends. Like, I feel weird about it because the only reason we're talking about it is because this guy got a lot of money somehow and was able to get it in front of people. Like, that's the only reason we're looking at it.
Well, and also, it's him.
So immediately I was like, I don't know if this is actually all that interesting. We kind of only know about it because he's rich. But then the more I'm learning about the guy, yeah, he's weirdly fascinating, I guess.
Well, but even his performance is on another level than any other, like the performances everyone else is giving, you have seen before in low-budget student films and, like, weird, like, TV movies and, like, filling time slot kind of TV movies. And, like...
This you've never seen.
You've never seen Tommy Wiseau before.
Yeah, and you said something I thought was pretty accurate, which is, I can't imagine this guy existing except being from some other planet where everyone is like this. Like, how is this a human being who exists in the same world we do?
This is like almost literally like in if Tommy Wiseau existed in any other film, he would be the alien who's failing to pass as a human.
Yeah, because he is the opposite of the everyman. And that is what he is playing in this movie. I think that's the weirdest part, is that he does not understand that there is not a single person on Earth that is like him. So, like, normally, like, this is like if Peter Parker was like Tommy Wiseau. Like, it's just like, you don't, what? That's not the kind of character that you cast in the lead for that role, but it's his movie, so it's just envisioned with him in the role from the beginning. That's so weird.
It's also weird that he doesn't realize how oblivious he is about just regular social things, and yet that's what his character arc is sort of about. Because I don't know how this guy doesn't realize that his future wife, because he never says fiance. I don't realize. I don't understand how he doesn't realize that she's like doing stuff behind his back and cheating on him and stuff. But then nobody remotely acts like a real person in this, and not like on the level of a lot of other things I've talked about, like that, like Star Trek Enterprise, or CW, or like this is a whole different. Where it's just like nobody has ever done anything anyone in this movie does.
My favorite isn't a real person. Is Mark, who from scene to scene, like, doesn't know what's happening.
It's like he's having an out-of-body
experience. He has an affair with Tommy's wife.
And then he keeps saying, you a future wife.
Future wife, and then says, why did you make me do that? Johnny's my best friend.
It's like he's possessed in the moment.
And he also has maybe the best...
Does Tommy Wiseau think that's what female allure is? That there's actually
like you can't control... It's like a drug. You can't control yourself, and then, like, once you're off of it, you, like, return to...
There's like some kind of a pheromone that comes out that forces him... It's not just basic passion. It's something on a whole other more primal level.
It's all pheromones. He also has what is one of the best lines in the whole movie that no one ever talks about. This is not a line people quote, but it should be, which is when she calls him seductively and she's like, I want to see you, and he goes, what are you talking about? We just saw each other.
So I can't get away from this thought. So Rasco, as with so many things, you come at things from more of a production standpoint, and I come at things from more of a narrative standpoint. I could not get past the cliche trite dialogue naturally. Just could not get past it. And I mean, I sort of wanted to take notes. I should have taken notes. My favorite line. I'll say this real quick before I make the point I was going to make 5 minutes ago. My favorite line in the movie is probably, you invited all my friends, good thinking?
That's never been said before, ever. No one on planet Earth has ever said that.
At their own birthday party, you invited all my friends, good thinking.
Is he a Pac-Lit, Eric? Is that what it is? You know, we look for things to make us go, yeah, he is smart, he is Reginald. Is he a Pac-Lit? Is that what it is? So, Rasco, this was like watching the ultimate culmination of a thing that that I never thought I would see made, which is like some of the pure written like screenplays and short stories I had to read in writing school. Like that's what this, and I read scripts that I thought were this bad. I never read anything quite like this, but a lot of the...
And none of those got made into full-blown movies.
That's the thing, is I never thought I would actually see, like, the end game of it. That's what was so bizarre about it. But all the stereotypes and cliches were there. All the stuff of people who, like, haven't lived enough life yet. This guy looks old enough, like he should have lived enough. Like people who haven't lived enough life yet, who think, like, people just screaming at each other are drama. That it's only an adult movie if people are constantly drinking
and having sex,
and certainly having sex. We weren't allowed to write as much explicit stuff in college, so I didn't read as much of that, but it was always implied, and we kind of constantly wanted to go there. And then, like, I don't know, just the lack of, I don't know how to talk about this, like the lack of any kind of scene structure. I mean, there was more. I gotta say, there was more of a through line than I expected there to be. Like, I was able to track the story more than I thought I could. But there's not. Yeah, go ahead, Rasco.
The things that happen in this in the room that you're just like, okay. So for example, any other movie, you see a guy walk into a house and he goes over and there's a woman and he gives her a kiss on the cheek or whatever, and you assume, oh, a relationship, right? Like, we're all humans, we all understand why someone would do that. It's like the movie doesn't think that it would be weird to introduce you to this really weird relationship with this couple, and then this kid who's like, you guys are my favorite people. Like, guys,
I like to watch.
It just introduces you to that, and it's like,
yeah.
Have you never seen that kind of relationship before? Oh, you're the weird one, not us. It's like, wait a second.
This is what they're all like.
Is this supposed to be like a plot point? Like, am I supposed to be intrigued by this?
It
or am I
doesn't
just
know.
Supposed to be like, well, of course, that's, you know.
It doesn't know if that relationship is weird, but then it decides that she's weird when she decides she's just gonna take all she can out of life and not like be, you know, compassionate or help anybody else, and that kind of like that to this movie is weird. But then I also get the sense that he thinks that's a thing people do.
Yeah,
and especially women do,
and and more than that, that they consciously do it.
But at the same time, it's also a cautionary tale that might be a parable before it's an actual, like, real life, you know, kind of story. But then, from what you've told me, he thinks he's making like an Oscar-worthy kind of piece.
He thinks his movie's going to win the Oscar.
And the way he talks about his movie, it's not heightened.
No, it's just this is life. This is it's like holding up a mirror.
Because I can't even call it, like, if it's heightened, it doesn't know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I said, I kind of thought, because the way I've heard people talk about it, and this is an indescribable movie. If you've not seen it, it's like, I'm not doing any kind of plot synopsis. If you've not, like, because that would be insane. If you've not seen this movie, I don't know how to describe it to you exactly, although I think I could be, with respect, I think I could do a better job than some people who I have talked to about, who have mentioned this movie to me, because I thought it was weird because you just couldn't even follow it. Like you didn't even know ever what was happening on the screen. Nobody's acting like people. I don't know why people are doing things they're doing, and then there's weird tonal shifts, and there's suddenly like characters that are kind of on one wavelength that are suddenly in another. There's weird, strange, like, shifts that happen. But I can follow the skeleton of what he thinks he's doing. It's insane. It's preposterous. But I can follow the skeleton of what he thinks he's doing. He thinks he's making a cautionary tale about what happens if you push against the positive parts of the human condition. That's what he thinks the movie's about. Where it's no, we are not built to just be out for ourselves, and bad things happen when you do that. That's what the movie thinks it's about. But it gets to that, and I mean, like, hear me out. I think you could make this movie. I actually think you could rewrite this and make this movie.
No, absolutely.
Like the movie about the girl who has up to this point always kind of done the right thing, and suddenly I mean, it's difficult to make it make sense, but suddenly decide, no, I'm just gonna try to get whatever I can, and like is acting against her instincts, which I suspect is maybe sort of what he thinks she's doing. Because there are places where he tries to get us to sympathize with her, but she's constantly just a really horrible person. Like, she's decided, that's my worldview now. I'm going to be a bad person because I'm entitled to get to be a bad person, and everyone else should be like that. Your point of view is so different from mine. Oh my god, it's great. I think you can make that movie.
No, absolutely. And honestly, I think that movie's been made. Like
that's true. Sure.
Like not like exactly The Room, but like the movie he thinks he's making has absolutely been made.
He starts from the same place that the worst scripts I read in college that I was talking about did, which is the mindset that no one has ever seen a movie before.
Yeah. It's actually funny because the thing about The Room is that there are a lot of things that are hilarious and funny and bad in The Room that are actually, you'd think that it could never happen again. Like, there's no way a movie this weird and so specifically weird could ever be made again. But that's not true. Because the thing is, when you go on the internet and you look at just like fan films that, you know, like just independent filmmakers are making, you see stuff that is on the level of The Room in terms of like hilarious, cringe.
And that's why I don't know how special it really is as a weird, seemingly impossible artifact. It just feels like a thing that nobody should have ever seen.
Well, but here's the thing about with a lot of those other things. I think those people can step back and be like, "Oh, I didn't realize we were making this." Like one of the things that, like when you watch things like the documentary about Troll 2 and when you watch anything about like infamously bad films, the thing that comes up over and over and over again is, I thought this was going to be my break. I thought I was really making a movie. And then they saw the movie and they're like, "Oh no. The Room isn't that. The Room is a cast and crew of people going, we are making the worst movie ever made, and one guy in control of everything thinking it's a masterpiece."
But I'm telling you, there are people who, I mean, maybe like a lot later in life they might look back on you know, some of the scripts I'm talking about and being like, "Wow, what is that? What did I write?" But I'm telling you, like, he's the one guy who like wrote the thing, and so there are other things like what Rasko's talking about where I bet it would take them a long time if they ever got there to realize just how bad what they wrote was. Where they're too close to it, it's all in their own head, and we've seen this with a lot of commercial things to a lesser degree, where you're so close to a thing that you don't realize, you forget that other people aren't in your head, and. I think what he's doing, and again, I saw this a lot in college, I think what he's doing is he's writing what he thinks he's seeing when he watches movies. He doesn't get how people actually interact with each other in real life. He's not writing from real life experiences. He's writing what he thinks movies are supposed to be. And some people never get out of that mindset. So I'm not trying to be dismissive of the bizarreness of it, but I also think there's more of this mindset than you realize. He seems like a quagmire, certainly.
Yeah, I also think that like he is the one unique thing that sets it apart, because even if it was a good movie, like on a script level, there is no way that he could play like a straight man, everyman character. Like, even if the script was just amazing, there's no way it could have worked out with him in the role, and it would have never happened without him in the lead role. It
would be like if right now you tried to make a movie that was just about like a guy like living his life, just a normal guy, and you cast Nick Nolte. Like just if you cast Nick Nolte as just a normal everyday guy, like current day Nick Nolte is just a normal everyday guy.
Or Cage, or
but he's an actor. He could do it. Yeah. No, Nick Nolte's real weird and crazy. Like think like the Hulk. Think Hulk.
Yeah.
Like that guy playing just like a normal guy, like down his luck. Like that's
fair.
I can't see it.
Yeah, or like Jason Momoa. Like that's one. Like Aquaman. Imagine if he was playing a banker. Just be like,
imagine him cast as Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be like,
well, I mean, yeah. There's people who are just like physically and the way they speak and the way they interact with people. You can't imagine them in certain roles, but I can't imagine this guy in any role. And also, I can't imagine this guy in real life either. Like,
and it's not different. Like that is the thing. Like I guarantee you, if you interview any of these people, and having listened to the audiobook for The Room, or for The Disaster Artist, which is read by Greg Sestero, he's just a normal guy. I guarantee you, if you interview most of the people that worked in this movie, they're a normal person. Yeah. He is the same person in the film and off screen. This isn't bad dialogue for him. This is how he talks. You saw the interview on the DVD, where he had to redub himself because he was in, like, or what I think is happening is...
I don't know why he does it. Have you seen that? The interview on the disc, he redubs over his own interview in a number of places.
My guess is that he is, you can't hear what he's saying.
Yeah.
And, like... The interview conduct on the DVD is just as poorly made as the film itself.
Yeah.
And my guess is he was talking and the mic couldn't pick him up, or he was mumbling and no one could understand what he's saying, and so he had to redub himself. There's an interview where
it's not mumbling though, because he dubs over himself okay. Like you could lip read it.
Yeah, no, he's clearly still saying the same thing.
Yeah.
It's so weird. But I was going somewhere with the interview thing. Oh, but, like, listen to him talk. He talks the way he writes. This is a man who writes exactly how he thinks.
Isn't that crazy?
And that's what...
No, and you're right. And that's the thing that separates him from Quagmire scripts I read in college where I was like, well, but you don't talk like that.
He talks like
why do you
this.
think people talk like that? Yeah. I said something when we were watching it that Eric said it makes him think that I was giving the guy too much credit when I said he must have heard somewhere that when people are talking in movies, they're supposed to do something with their hands, and the only thing he thought of was football, so he did it over and over and over again. And Eric was like, I think you're giving him too much credit, that would be the reason he put that in there.
No, and he talks about it in the interview, where he's like, I just want people to understand that, like, football is a game that you can play, and you can play it 3 feet apart or without gear. You don't need big stadium.
I think he's making that up in the moment, though. I don't think there was any reason he made it football in the first place. But I don't know how to get into this guy's mind.
If there's any thematic symbolism in this film, and if there is, we have to read into it completely and assume it's all intentional.
Yeah.
Football is dangerous. When we play football, people fall down and get hurt. And something roses.
Yeah.
Those are the two recurring thematic themes of this film. Thematic themes.
And you eat chocolate off people, because that's romantic.
That guy is so food obsessed, it's real creepy.
Yeah, that was super. And that face he makes whenever he's got food, he's just like...
Yeah. And it, like some of the things is like the fact that there's a character who is best friends, who is introduced like halfway through the movie. He's not there from the beginning. There's a psychiatrist friend who's like best friends with everybody, and they have a great conversation where in the middle of a conversation someone just goes, I'm thinking about getting a bigger house. I'm making a lot of money now.
Yeah.
But there's a psychiatrist character, and the actor couldn't finish doing it because Tommy Wiseau told him it was going to be this long to shoot this movie, and it was this long to shoot this movie. He's like, I got other things to do. And instead of recasting, maybe even reshooting the scenes that he was in...
with somebody else.
He just got a new actor, came up with a new character name, and just gave him all of that guy's lines. So in the end of the movie, you just have a guy you've never seen before is best friends with everybody. It's like you're going to tear our friendship apart.
Like maybe kind of a psychologist, but you're not sure what he actually does. That was one of my favorite parts. When he just walks in and starts talking. And you told me that was going to happen. I kind of wish he hadn't said anything, so I could try to piece that together.
Like, who is this guy?
I don't know who this guy is, and he's like real odd about stuff.
Yeah.
He walks in and he's like, "Oh, you can't do this to us," and
you're going to tear our group of friends apart. And it's like we don't know who you are, guy.
We have no idea who you are. I was very distracted by the future wife's mother, who's got the real cliche, like you need to keep your man around to provide for you, and like a part of me kind of actually buys that woman turned out that way, being raised by that woman. Like,
what's weird, if you want to read into Tommy Wiseau, is that he does seem to think, and maybe this is self-reflection, because he's a guy who very clearly probably hasn't like been with a woman, like based on that sex scene. Like, I don't think this is someone who's ever had a real relationship. Like, and having read the book, I don't think this is someone that's ever. He's just so weird, but that he legitimately thinks, like, why wouldn't you love me? I have money. I could give you a good life. You should love me for that. The movie seems to think that's a good thing.
This is what happens when the most superficial person you could imagine tries to write deep drama. I mean that's why. But to something you said a minute ago, like of course, he would have difficulty with relationships and things. He was made out of Play-Doh. Like, the guy was sculpted out of Play-Doh, as far as I can tell. I don't know. I don't mean to make fun of the guy too much, but but he has a very strange physique, and I don't know how you get that physique. Like, I want to know. I don't know what his personal trainer told him to do.
It's one of those things where it's like, don't judge a book by a cover. He is exactly the man you think he is when you look at him.
Yeah, it's yeah. He's
like, so often, like, you'll see somebody like, oh, they look really weird, and then like you talk to him, like, oh, that's a really interesting person. He is exactly the person you're worried he is when you see him.
He keeps doing this like weird laugh thing in between almost every line of dialogue where you just constantly go and it's like it's Power Ranger acting to the max, like, you know. And now that I've brought this up, if you guys ever go back and watch even the first one, I was going to say the bad Ninja Turtles movies. Like 2 and 3. I mean, I like things about 2, but like if you go back and watch those, he's doing what the Ninja Turtles do. only like to the nth degree.
And sometimes in really inappropriate places.
I have only ever seen one other thing that really reminded me of this, like actually on film or video, which is I think it was a 3DO game, Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. Which is a game that was reviewed by AVGN, and if you haven't seen that video, go watch it because it's insane. And I showed it to you a long time ago. The dialogue in this is like that. We talked about when we first started watching it. You implored me to believe you that it wasn't pornography,
which is a thing that I've had to do every time
away.
Because some people I've shown this to don't know about The Room, don't know the reputation, and like it's 3 graphic sex scenes back to back to back, and they're long. They're like 5 minutes apiece, and I'm like, no, you understand? It's not pornography. I swear to God, this is not pornography.
But once you said that, it's written like it.
Yeah, it's written and acted like it.
But all the way through, even when we're not doing any kind of sex scenes or anything, it's written like porn dialogue.
Yeah. And directed like it too. Like that's the thing, is the sets look like that. Like this looks like a movie that could be pornography.
Whatever I might, with the production values.
Yeah.
Whatever I might have imagined this was, it was not that. it was a completely different thing. But I don't know. It's almost like a rite of passage movie. Like, if you love movies, this is maybe one of those movies to watch.
Then you'll love The Room.
To remind you why you like movies, because they're not this.
That needs to be out. If you love movies, you'll love The Room on the...
This is not a sign flip kind of movie.
No!
If that makes any sense at all. There's, obviously, as a regular movie, it's a red flip, but it transcends all of that in a way. I'd like to take this opportunity now to make an announcement. And I talked about this earlier on the Omnibus. If you're just watching this video,
is this the big thing?
This is the big thing. So earlier I said, that I'm going for a really wild and wacky Patreon goal of 150 patrons. We're at 88 right now. It's almost double that. I'm going to so we're gonna have a Patreon goal, and I haven't put this on the website yet, but it should be by the time we upload this. I'm going to do a thing that I do not want to do, and that would be absolutely insane to have to do. And I will only do it if we achieve the miraculous number of 150 patrons, which I do not expect to happen. But if enough people...
Which is why he set the goal so
high, yeah. But...
I have a fear.
If people are actually that interested in seeing me do this, I will do the in-depth analysis, rewind, structure review on The Room. I will do it with 150 patrons.
That's not what I thought you were going to say, and I'm so glad you didn't say what I thought you were going to say.
What's that?
I thought... So, Cap recently discovered, not recently, it was a year ago now, everything feels recent, that there's like a bunch of podcasts where it's like minute by minute of a movie.
Oh, Lord,
and, and you were like, I just need a movie that can do that too.
Oh,
I thought you were going to say, like, Eric and you're doing this too. We're going to we're going to do The Room minute by minute.
I would absolutely, first of all, I wouldn't do that. That's
1,000 patrons, we will do that.
But I, don't say that. Don't say that. But I would not volunteer you for that without telling you about it ahead of time.
I'd do it.
Obviously, this is like the least rewindable kind of movie, and I will give it my best shot, and do the thematic and character analysis, and try to break this down and figure out what it thinks it's doing. If we get to 150 pages,
you have to live with that movie.
I will live with that movie for the week or two that it takes to make that. So, anyway, I do not expect that to happen.
But if it does.
And
I owned it. I've owned it for a while. It was so, like, as the Disaster Artist is coming out, like, people are, like, wanting to go see it. Like, they've always heard about this movie. They've seen, like, people review it and stuff, but they've never seen it. And, like, multiple times
now...
like
midnight screening kind of movies.
Yeah. Multiple times now, people have been like, yeah, I want to see The Room. And I'm like, I own it. And they're like, really? I'm like, why would I not own The Room? Like, of course I own The Room.
So yeah, thanks everybody for watching. He Made Me Watch. We sure appreciate it. Rascal, thanks for being here. This is, I think, the first time we've done a He Made Me Watch where the other person knows the movie but didn't watch it with us. I think that was kind of new. Sorry, what was that?
I'm just here to break the rules. That's all I do. Break the rules.
He's gonna have to break his one rule. Anyway, I did that in the Batman voice. That made no sense. It made no sense to be Batman saying that line. I don't know. Break your one rule. Anyway. Thanks for watching, folks that are just watching the He May Be Watching video by itself, and we're going to move on with the Omnibus